Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Suzerain. So, in the last episode, we crushed the campaign finance bill that would have unfairly given an advantage to my party and disadvantaged, well, given every other party a disadvantage, and so on and so forth. Now we're going to be moving on to the infrastructure projects. That's going to be the next big thing. If you remember, we talked about in the last episode how there was talk of having some type of major infrastructure plan. We did agree to have a major infrastructure plan, so now we finna actually take a look at what those plans might actually be. So, let's attend the infrastructure meeting. The view towards the Marquian Sea from Lechaven was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside state residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, and accommodating. But enjoying the luxurious mansion wasn't the main reason of our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour had already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I did not even have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the windows, I spaced out for a couple seconds. Simon's voice brought me back into the ongoing discussion. Simon Hall. Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects. Agreed. On one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistical rail network between Hosord and Lechaven. Lilius started talking as soon as Simon took a breath. On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of proper highway connection between Lechaven and Arvery. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous, but also difficult to traverse. And of course, you can choose which route you want to go through. In this particular sense, we need to heed the calls of the businesses in these days of recession. We need to pick the most profitable option for the economic growth. The citizens and their demands matter the most. Now, of course, again, I said I'm going to lean more towards the socialist side instead of leaning more towards the big business side. So the citizens and their demands matter the most. Their demands are just. The dire situation of the road infrastructure between Lechaven and Arvery can't be neglected. The return in investment will be low. Our concern should be economic growth. It is not the business people that suffer, but the ordinary folk. What really matters, though, is that we can accomplish something tangible in your first economic act. We must prove our administrative capabilities. The people must know that this administration can get things done. I agree. Therefore, I defined two important projects for your attention. The H3 Highway Project and the L1 High-Speed Railway Project. Mr. Hall repositioned himself on the chair to take a more comfortable posture. The ministry can only support one project at a time with the current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. I wonder if, as time goes along, will we be able to take on multiple projects at one time? Because I could imagine that with the game being only spanning 4 years, it's going to be pretty hard to turn around and have multiple things going on at one time. There's only so much you can do in a single term. So which one do you want to hear about first? Let's hear about the H3 Highway Project, which is what I'm probably going to choose. The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in the Aglan region bordering Agnolia. The area is home to several million Agno sorters and sorters who feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from Aglan. The mayor of Arvery, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the regional infrastructure. He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. Therefore, the increased travel time is causing trouble for people traveling in and out of the region. We can't leave the request of Eric Neal, a party member, unanswered. That must be cumbersome for the citizens. I agree. This could also hurt local business. We are thinking alike on the matter. Let us look at the map. Look at the map. I looked at the map. Lilius was pointing at Lechaven. The H3 highway route starts at here and leads to Linkirk. From there, it goes all the way to Arvery. As a result, the road network towards the Agnolian capital, Stallport, will improve substantially. She paused and leaned forward in her chair. I saw the central government continuously neglect the Agno-Sordish dominated region when I was mayor. And this administration going to continue that kind of negligence? We should no longer neglect a key region for our trade with Agnolia. And if I'm not mistaken, I think from what I remember, Agnolia is a little bit more to the left, which is again what we're trying to work with. I could be wrong about this, but let's see here. Countries, Magnolia. Yeah, economically they might be struggling, but the people enjoy many political freedoms. Many regard Agnolians as the most hospitable folk. The country started to shift towards the influence of United Contana after Rumburg entered alliance talks with Arcasia. However, due to the Heligeland, whatever that is, islands dispute with Volksland, Agnolia has frozen talks for further cooperation with United Contana. Still, economically speaking, they are the main trade partner of Agnolia. Rumburgians, Swords, and Volk still live in Agnolia with relatively good freedoms. So I'm assuming that if we can actually build up this trade route here, we can possibly get into some talks with Agnolia, maybe even get into some talks with Volksland at some point, and probably even help them settle their issues or whatever. And then maybe we can have some type of, triple alliance there. But I do kind of see a negative side to this because, again, we have the issue of Rumburg. And if you look at where Rumburg is, which I'll show in a moment, but if you look at what Rumburg is, it's very close to Agnolia. And if we sit up here and build a highway, it's going to help our people, let's say in the case of an invasion, it's going to help our people retreat. But at the same time, it's probably going to help them be able to get around. Whereas if that wasn't the case, we could kind of abandon Agnolia, try and save as many people as we can, and then kind of box them in the situation, and hopefully get some reinforcements from the we can box them in that region, and then try and get some help from Agnolia. So, but maybe it won't be that complicated. We'll see. Let's see. We should no longer neglect the key region of trade with Agnolia. Yes, sure, but most goods flow to Lochaven and Holsor, which give importance to logistics there. It has to be pointed out that the highway would be less beneficial in the near term. I disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation throughout the region. Our citizens will be very content if we successfully accomplish such a popularly requested investment. Besides, if we enter trade talks with Agnolia, they would see the investment as a positive sign. Plus, on the flip side of that too, if we sit up there and invest in business, that would also kind of force us to be in a alliance with the media and stuff like that, because we would probably it would probably be seen as very unpopular to turn around and have the train thing or whatever. Of course, it would be popular with more wealthy citizens and things like that, but at the same time, everybody else is going to hate us, so we're going to have to hope that the media can just cover our tail the entire time, which would give them more control over us, and so on and so forth. So, for the sake of the demo, I'll go ahead and talk about the other project too. This is very interesting, but could you tell me about the railway project? Your predecessor, Alfonso, has failed in delivering this campaign promise, but we can start the construction of this groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current train cannot meet the standards of today. As many other countries adopt this new electric engine technology to power up their trains, we fall one step behind. Reports about the newest trains in United Contana traveling at the incredible speeds has piqued the business interest. They too want to transport resources and materials from Holsor to Lochaven with great speed and efficiency. Major cities of Sorland needs more infrastructure to support their growing population. I agree with that. This should be our priority: growth and development. Growth and development optimization. Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Hosor to Lechaven. It will transform to a high-speed rail. Look at the map. I looked at the map. Gus was pointing at Hosor while Simon was looking attentively. The planned construction starts right here at the capital. It will go to Enrica first, then connect Gilsord, after which it will reach Lechaven, our economic powerhouse. The L1 will significantly boost the economy on the newly linked cities and even the rural areas in between. Lechaven is our primary port, so the goods unloaded there will be transported to Hosord much faster. Investments in already developed regions makes little sense. I completely agree. Our attentions must be diverted to the needy. The H3 makes more sense. The mayor of Enrica, Curtin Less, also requested this project to be prioritized. Businessmen in the region will be very content with which increases investment and employment. Therefore, I will recommend the L1 high-speed rail project. I've settled on a decision. I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily, well, because of the politics that I'm taking in this particular case, I don't agree with the whole investing in a region that already has a large population or whatever. So we're going to invest in the rural politics, I guess you can say, to a certain degree, being on the side of the people. I have decided on the H3 highway project to improve the infrastructure in our poorer regions. Great news. I knew that you would see reason. The negotiations will begin in the middle of this year. You will be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. The ministry estimates that the entire construction will finish in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully. Thank you all for your contributions and thoughts. See you soon, Mr. Rain. Have a nice day, Mr. President. Evening settled on the beautiful coastline of Lechaven. So yeah, we're going to invest in the more rural areas in order to try and connect with our neighbor, Agnolia, and this will help trade go through. If you remember, I believe in the first episode, we got a letter of congratulations from Magnolia, and they also mentioned how they wanted to hopefully have more balanced trade and things like that. So, and again, as we've read from the Codex document, they're somewhat aligned with United Contana, who is what we're trying to go ahead and get an alliance with. I'm guessing this is the island right here. I keep forgetting that my cursor doesn't show up on the screen. But yeah, it's right here in the center of the Marquean Sea. I could see how that could be a very, very hard fought and valuable land that they would want. But anywho, let's see, what else do we have? Do we have any news reports? Okay, we do have a report from the capital. Let's see what's going on here. Attend the inaugural ball. We are going to attend the ball as a family. Monica, Dana, and Frank are preparing. I was just finished with my preparations when the bell started to ring. The Presidential Guard had arrived to pick us up for the inaugural ball. Tonight commemorated the beginning of a new term under the Reign administration. The 3-decade-long tradition of holding a ball was something that drew a lot of attention. Monica, Frank, Dana, and I were about to finish our preparations at home before we departed for the party. I put on my suit, fixed my collar, and looked in the mirror. I was the 4th president of Swordland. Suddenly, Dana hugged me from behind, startling me a little. Dad, Mother told me it's time to go. Stroke her hair. I stroked her beautiful hair. Papa. She smiled. It was almost time to leave the house. The commemoration ball was starting in less than an hour. Darling, Frank, it's time. Monica was coming down the stairs. The years have been kind to Monica. She looked more beautiful than ever with her neatly pinned chignon. a sheath dress in beige and short heels. She was also wearing matching pearl earrings that I had given her for our anniversary. Anton, I'm ready. Where is Frank? He should have been downstairs by now. Monica let out a sigh and started fixing my tie. Once she was satisfied, I was rewarded with a kiss on the cheek. Jesus, I can't speak today. Monica, you look absolutely gorgeous. Oh, you're such a flirt. Frank came down the stairs. Okay, I'm ready. He didn't seem very enthusiastic. Good to have you join us for this big night. You know that I don't like these public events much. Daddy, are these people going to be around us from now on? She pointed at the presidential guards at the door of the house. They're not anybody. They are the presidential guard, Dina. They protect us. Don't worry, baby. They will be around for a while to make sure your daddy and our family is safe. Monica held Dina's hand, and together we walked out the door as the guards opened us the way. Suddenly, Frank stopped abruptly at the door. What's going to happen at the ball? Maybe I could have stayed. Music, food, long speeches. I'm sure you'll like it. Right. I guess I have no choice. Okay, Frank. Come on, let's go. The car's waiting for us. The presidential guard showed us the way as red and blue lights were flashing around us. We entered the car as my driver, Sergey, opened the door for us. The motorcade started moving towards the palace. I watched outside the window as I lost myself in thoughts. Anton, what are you thinking about? I was just thinking that we came a long way together, didn't we? Yes, we did. And we will do a lot more together, darling. You do know that everyone around you is looking up to you. Don't let it stress you out. You're capable. Papa will fix everything. Oh boy. I definitely will not. Frank rolled his eyes. Of course, honey. He'll do his best. This means a great deal to me. Try not to be a douche to my family. After traveling for a few minutes, the convoy started slowing down. Sergey rolled down the soundproof glass in the limousine. We're here, sir. Hope you enjoyed the drive. Much appreciated. How are you today? I'm just as good as I can be, but today is your day, sir. I'm glad you're in charge now. You know, my entire family voted for you. Thank you and your family. I'm here with all of your support. I won't let your family down, Sergey. I probably will. I don't doubt that, sir. You are the one that sparked a glimmer of hope in us all. I briefly looked outside. Shiny luxury sedans were lined up around the palace. Many politicians and bureaucrats were making their way inside the building. Colorful decorations nearly made the daunting palace look innocent. Good luck out there, Mr. President. See you on the way back. I stepped out to loud voices and camera flashes, only to find myself swarmed by journalists with portable microphones thrusting my way. One of the journalists, nearly poking her microphone in my face, managed to corner me with a question. Mr. President, do you plan on working together with the opposition parties on expected reforms? I don't have a problem with actually answering this question, so... if the opposition is no. That makes it sound kind of different, I guess you could say. Because it almost kind of makes it sound like you're willing to make us make them support us with everything. So, I'll just say we will bring real change. Does that mean you don't plan on working together? Do you think you share no grounds with the other parties? We will do our job no matter what. It's funny. That's the first time I think I actually used that one. Typically, it acts. I think the way it was worded before was that you could choose to kind of speak about working with the other parties, or working with the reformists in this case. And this particular time, she flipped it back on me and tried to say that I was just saying that I was going to work by myself, or we were going to work by ourselves. Huh. What is your relationship with... Okay, that's enough, said the guard while nudging her and the others away from me. The path between the crowd was now open, and we quickly made our way to the entrance of the palace. At the same time, a dozen fireworks went off. The entrance was decorated with beautiful ribbons of swordland colors of white, yellow, and maroon. There was a huge carpet rolling down the stairs. Then we entered the lobby. Hundreds of people were making their way towards the ballroom. It was very busy and crowded. I heard a familiar voice. I also see we have another news article. I'm guessing it's about what I just said. Oh, come on. And of course, here comes Swordland today, trying to screw everything up. President Rain shut down the call for cooperation with Friends Richter of the PFJP ahead of the inauguration ball. Regarding the remarks of Richter about a possible cooperation to fix the current problems of Swordish political institutions, we will do our job no matter what, said President Rain. Richter has long been vocal about his democratization plan, and it seems that his demands for constitutional change will never become a reality if we do not see a Richter presidency anytime soon. It looks like the opposition will have a hard time during President Rain's term. And of course, they're not too happy about the fact that I turned around and just didn't have anything to do with Swordland today and what was his name? Marcel Coronati. So yeah, now they're going to try and twist all my words. So, or the lack thereof of words. Anywho, back to this. Peter Vectern, the vice president. There's the most beautiful family of Swordland. Uncle Peter. Congratulations, Uncle Peter. Great to see you. You two are growing faster than I am getting wiser. Are you even getting any wiser, Peter? Not if I keep sticking with you. Happy to see you, Peter. Peter's wife, Evelyn, approached us from behind. She was a beautiful woman with a strong presence. Congratulations, Anton. I have to say, the results were clear to me from the very beginning. There's a woman behind every successful man. What a gentleman. Monica smiled at me. Monica, how about you? How are you holding up? I'm as happy as I can be since this roller coaster ride is over, but it will surely get more stressful with time again. It will, but never mind that now. First Lady, huh? Aren't you glad Peter introduced you to Anton back in the day? I told you, Evelyn, I'm the greatest Cupid Swordland has ever seen. Yes, you are, Peter. Maybe you should make that your official title. The Vice Cupid Peter Vectern. Also, it rhymes with stupid, doesn't it? Jesus. Suddenly, Dana jumped in between us. Can we go? I want to see the ballroom and my friend. Of course, darling. Let's not delay it any longer. Let's move to the ballroom. We left the lobby and made our way towards the ballroom. Inside, we were yet again surrounded by a different crowd, but this time it was the politicians who sought to appease the new authority in Swordland. I spent the next few hours with handshakes, joining various conversations, some serious, some superficial, and making speeches. We finally settled down at a dinner table with the Vecterns as the band started playing some slow jazz tunes. Oof, that was tiring. Yeah, I need a drink. Well, suddenly a loud banging noise echoed in from outside, then another one, and another one. The musicians stopped while trying to make out what kind of sound it was. Everyone in the room was looking at each other in confusion. I turned to Peter and he turned to me at the same time with a worried face. Fireworks? No, gunshots. As soon as Monica heard what Peter said, she got up from her chair. Shield Monica and the kids. I threw myself on Monica, Dana, and Frank to shield them. Daddy, what's happening? Father, I'm scared. It was total chaos. Dana started crying loudly, and Frank was holding onto my jacket for his dear life. Everyone in the ballroom was frantically running around and screaming. 3 more gunshots ringed loudly. Mr. President, are you alright? Carl Grazer, head of the Swordage police force, was running towards us with 3 more police officers with decorated uniforms. They all had their guns drawn. As soon as he made it to where we were, he checked us for any potential wounds and let out a big sigh of relief. Thank God. What the hell is going on? 1 second, Mr. President. He turned around quickly to his men. Check the perimeter, now. Paul, Jensine, follow my lead. We will bring them to the safe room. He now turned around to everyone around our table and spoke with a softer voice. Do not worry, the situation is now under control. Please follow me to the safe room. We promptly followed Carl through the large halls and corridors of the palace. They still had their guns drawn, which did not help ease the tension. On the way, Peter made an attempt to break the silence. What a fucking night. It's not over yet. Carl turned to us with a serious face as we were about to take a corner. Quiet, please. Sorry, I talk when I'm nervous. Peter, shut up. We were led downstairs to a huge reinforced door. Inside, we found a very spacious and comfortable space. It was clear that this place was meant to be used for potentially dangerous situations. There were many screens connected to cameras all around the palace. Phones, couches, provisions, enough for months, even a boardroom. Monica and Evelyn took the kids to a couch and started wiping their tears. Carl stepped away from us and started using his radio to get status updates. When he was done, he returned to me and Peter. Now, a couple times I have been a bit of a douche in this particular case because, come on now. Y'all are supposed to be the presidential guard and you're doing a piss poor job. Like, you should have known about these security threats and stuff like that. But, I won't be too rough on them this time. So, what's the status? Suddenly, his radio received the transmission. Carl immediately picked up and listened. Every second felt like an eternity. He turned to us after the radio fell silent. Good news. We are not in any danger at the moment. The situation is under control and the perimeter is secured by the guard and the police. He glanced toward Monica, Evelyn, and the kids. If I may, sir. He gestured towards a more private corner of the room and started speaking more quietly. This is what we know so far. We have confirmed that 2 people were gunned down in front of the palace. The gunman is one of them, and we are sure that he was working alone. The attacker fired 3 shots at an MP, 1 to the head, 2 to the body, instantly killing him. Presidential guards at the palace immediately acted and killed the attacker. The attacker has not been identified yet and will require an investigation. The MP that was killed was identified as Bernard Circas. This is big, Anton. This will cause a lot of issues. A lot of issues. Peter pulled out 2 cigarettes, gave me one, and lit it. He then turned around to stand next to Evelyn. I could hear his voice trying to reassure her that everything was going to be alright. Monica was still trying to tend to Dana, while Frank was complaining that he should have never came to this party. She got up, came next to me, and squeezed my shoulder. I could feel her support. What kind of future was lying ahead of me? I took drag after drag from the cigarette, with each one amplifying my anxiety. However, when I finally finished it, for some reason I was no longer feeling anxious. No, the emotion I was feeling was no longer anxiety. It was determination. I crushed the cigarette on the ashtray. So, we have an assassination of an MP. That's definitely not good. Let's see what the news is saying. Oh, great, Sorlin today. Sorlin has been shocked by grave news today as an elected member of parliament has been shot dead in a suspected political assassination. Police sirens were heard around the clock today as Hosor police force increased security measures around the capital. The fact that such a violent act happened at the heart of the capital during the new president's inauguration celebration has worried many citizens. The Red Youth has reported to have promised revenge. This seems like it has a potential to be a spark that will swirl Swortland into the political violence of the 1920s. So yeah, the person that was shot was very important. Let's go over here to the journal and the codex. Let's see here. And the assembly. Bernard Surcos. Bernard Surcos was a Swordist poet, novelist, short story writer, and politician. He was acclaimed for his lyrical flow and was regarded to be the leader of the Swordist avant-garde. He was killed by a member of the Young Swords during Anton Rain's inauguration ball. His early writings were heavily influenced by the social, cultural, and economic problems of the home city of his home city of Dare. His work earned him the description of a romantic communist. He joined the Red Youth during the Swordish Civil War and fled Swortland after the war was over, surviving the purge of Tarquin Sol. He moved to United Contana and studied sociology at the Communist University of Kiowa. Kiowa? Kiowa, sure. There, he was influenced by the artistic experiments of Contanan poets who had advocated futurism as well as the ideological vision of Malinev. Many of his works are regarded as the greatest achievements of the Swordist literature and earned him many awards abroad. Because of his political views, his works were banned in Swortland since 1930. In 1950, Bernard returned to Swortland following the departure of Tarquin Sol. He organized strikes against Swordist government's failures to include amnesty laws and started to become a popular figure in Swordish politics. He ran as an independent in the 1953 general election and became the first communist to be elected to the Grand National Assembly of Swortland. He was shot when he was leaving Anton Rain's inauguration ball by a member of the Young Swords. So yeah, that's gonna cause some problems. He was a man of the people, so yeah, a lot of people are gonna be upset about the fact that he was assassinated. And he was assassinated by fascists nonetheless. So, because again, if you go over here to the Codex, if you look at the Young Swords Party, or the Young Swords at least, the Young Swords is a right-wing nationalist political organization with alleged connections to a number of armed attacks against the Swordish government. They are a youth organization that has close ties to the National Front Party, and it has been described as NFP's militant wing. Its members deny its political nature and claim it to only be a cultural and educational foundation. Established by Colonel General Lutheran in the late 1927, it rose to prominence during the late Swordish Civil War, when its members engaged in urban guerrilla warfare with left-wing activists and militants. Scholars have described it as a death squad, responsible for most of the violence and killings in this period. A staunchly pan-Swordist organization, in the early 1930s, the Young Swords have managed to extend their area of operation into Swordist-speaking post-revolution Vogsland. The organization has long been a prominent suspect in investigation into the Swordish deep state and is suspected of having had close dealings in the past with police forces and the judiciary branch of Swortland. So, and then also if you remember, in the beginning of the game, you could choose right before the Civil War started, or right around the time the Civil War started, you could choose to either side with nobody, side with the Reds, or you could side with the Young Swords. So that's gonna be a thing later on, and I'm pretty sure you having ties with the Red Youth, I think it was called, is gonna cause some problems with them later on. So, and of course there's National Front. So yeah, that's gonna be some issues right there. So now we're starting to see political violence. We're starting to see how some of the politics is gonna kind of go all around. And I have a sneaky suspicion that National Front is kind of being backed by some more powerful figures as well. So you can't trust anybody in this game, and that's kind of the one big thing that is always pushed in the promotion of this game, is that you can't trust anybody. Everybody has ties to certain things. Everybody have their own motivations and such. So you're gonna have to deal with everything on a case by case basis. So, anywho, I'm gonna stop it right here. This might be a little bit shorter of a video. I'm not too sure. I'm not clocking these videos or anything like that. I'm just trying to get a general feel for when I should stop. But I'm gonna stop right here. In the next video, we'll read the report from Hosar, and we'll also join the emergency meeting about what just happened and go from there. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.